Okay, let's do this. So, hi everyone, and welcome to our special AMA. It's called Proof in Practice: Zero User Loss, 100% Commitment. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Gabby. I'm Pundi AI's Commercial Law Associate, and I'll be hosting tonight's session alongside our Pundi AI core team. Over the past few weeks, our community has shown incredible patience, strength, and support as we navigated one of the most challenging chapters in our story. But tonight is about transparency, accountability, and clarity. You'll hear directly from the people who managed our response, led recovery efforts, and continue to drive our mission forward. We'll start by introducing tonight's guests. Danny, Zach, and David, who honestly need no introduction, but here we go. Tonight, we got a group of core contributors: David Benkei, Pundi AI's president; Zac Cheah, our co founder; and Dr. Danny Lim, co founder of Pundi AI. After that, we'll talk through key questions covering the exploit, our response, the road ahead, and how we're working to rebuild and grow stronger. We'll also take time at the end for live community questions if there's any. So feel free to drop in your questions in the chat. So let's begin, guys. So my first question, I'd like to direct it to David. Let's kick things off with the big picture. David, for those who may be new or need a refresher, can you walk us through what Pundi AI is, the vision behind it, and how Data Pump fits into that?
Happy to do that. Yeah, we launched Putty AI just last year in 2024, and it was a rebranding and evolution of FunctionX. And Putty AI had a clear focus on democratizing AI development through decentralization. So FunctionX was centered around blockchain infrastructure, and Putty AI shifts that focus toward building an open AI data economy. So, our mission is to make AI development accessible to everyone by providing a decentralized suite of tools, including a platform for tagging and annotating data. That's our AI data platform. A marketplace for trading data sets. That's the AI data marketplace. And data pump. And so, with this transition, we're aligning more closely with what we see as the future of AI and Web3, ensuring transparency, inclusivity, and a resistance to monopolistic control. So, Data Pump is a newly launched product that allows dataset owners to turn high quality AI training data into liquid trainable on chain assets called dataset tokens, DTOX. And this is inspired by proven Web3 models like tokenized agent economies. So, Data Pump applies these principles directly to the source of intelligence, high quality data. And so, this design ensures that data contributors retain permissionless access, they earn fair rewards, and it provides transparent utility to AI developers and the broader community.
Thank you, David. I think that this was a great explanation for everyone that's new and that's just popping in the AMA, and for a greater refresher for everyone who's just listening now. So thank you. And I want to dive in what's been on everyone's mind lately. Zach, could you walk us through exactly what happened during the exploit? Like how it started, what went wrong, and how did the team respond in real time?
Right. So I think before I share about how it transpired on the exploit day itself, I want to get everyone's attention on how this exploit actually came about and how it actually affects the whole industry. And why do I say the whole industry? Well, after 20 days since the exploit has happened, now we have a lot of clarity on how things have actually took place. And it is not only Pundi AI that actually suffered this exploit, but there were many protocols in the space that were either have suffered or were made aware a few days before the exploit actually kicked in, right? And there's actually a pretty solid article out there that talked about the exploit. And for those of you that are interested, I want to share that link as well to you. And in that article itself, it actually said that protocols such as EtherFi, Pendle, Berachain actually also have that exploit embedded in their code. And now it brings us to 12th of July, whereby the exploit actually happened. And why were we targeted? We were targeted because we actually had a proxy contract which allows an upgrade to our contract. And in the contract itself, we actually had an uninitialized function, which the attacker actually exploited by calling the function before our team, right? So is everyone still following me? So the question now is that I think what made the attack so much more sophisticated was that it actually bypassed Etherscan's interface as well, which means that Etherscan wasn't showing who the real owner of the contract is, the admin for various rights, which means that that attack was actually embedded for a long time before it kicked in. And it actually kicked in on the 12th of July. So for us, it was actually around 2 p.m. Singapore time on a Saturday. And what the attacker did was that the attacker actually minted 1 million Pundi AI token, right? Actually, he minted 100 million FX token, which he quickly converted into 1 million Pundi AI tokens, right? So right now we have a situation at 2+ in the afternoon on Saturday, whereby we had an increase of over 10% of our circulating supply, right? And what the exploiter did was that the exploiter tried to sell those tokens on three what we would like to call a war zone. One is on Ethereum, the second one is on Pundi AI FX Omni layer, and the third was on BSC. So right now, everyone knows that we have recovered over 70% of the exploited funds. In fact, after making the final calculation, we concluded that over 85% of the funds were actually safely recovered, right? And what happened to the 15%? As I said, there were three war zones, so to speak, right? The first is actually Pundi AI FX Omni layer, the second one was Ethereum, and the third was BSC. So when we say that these three areas are war zone, it essentially means that the attacker are able or attempted to sell Pundi AI on this three chain. On the first chain, which is Pundi AI FX, the attacker actually, what he did was that he actually breached about 400,000 Pundi AI to Pundi AI FX, right? And he started selling the Pundi AI FX on MarginX. And that is when the price started to quickly go down. And what we did was that we had to decide at that moment what to act. And we had a function to actually halt the whole chain, which we decided to do during that time. So what we did on Saturday, 1 hour plus after the exploitation happened, whereby 1 million Pundi AI tokens were minted, the exploiter moved 40% of the exploited tokens, 400k Pundi AI, into Pundi AI FX and tried to sell. What we did was that we halted the chain and we actually froze over 264,000 Pundi AI and over 90,000 worth of crypto, which the exploiter has sold to. So by then, by 4 plus, the whole Pundi AI FX chain was actually halted to prevent the exploiter from one, selling further Pundi AI tokens, and two, to bridging out the tokens that he has sold. So on Pundi AI FX Omni layer, we have stopped any actions possible for the exploiter. Now, on the Ethereum front, we also froze the Pundi AI on Ethereum, which means that at that moment, both Ethereum and Pundi AI FX, if you have Pundi AI tokens, you weren't able to transact for everyone. And last but not least was on BSC. So what the attacker did was that he actually transferred over 100,000 Pundi AI to BSC, right? So BSC is actually where the majority of what we would call the war happened, whereby the exploiter started selling on PancakeSwap. And because we could not halt the contract, because it's actually a third-party contract, which we have worked with XLR to deploy on BSC. So that is where the hacker, the exploiter, tried to sell the 100,000 Pundi AI on BSC, and that was where the majority of the losses that have incurred. So what did we do on BSC to prevent further losses? So just a recap, we have frozen his funds on Ethereum, so he couldn't sell on Ethereum. He bridged to Pundi AI FX and started selling a small part of the funds, and we went on to freeze Pundi AI FX chain as well. So he also could not sell on Pundi AI FX. So right now, what we have is that on Saturday afternoon, we have a perspective that the attacker has about 100,000, slightly over 100,000 Pundi AI, which he's attempting to sell on BSC. So what we did on BSC is actually a pretty interesting scenario, because we just went into BSC with a partnership with Binance for Binance Alpha. So we are fairly new on BSC. And because we are fairly new on BSC, most of the liquidity of BSC centered around PancakeSwap. Many people use Pancake to either buy or sell Pundi AI, including Binance Alpha user. So what the attacker was trying to do was to sell his tokens on BSC. So at that moment, we withdrew our liquidity from PancakeSwap, which means that in effect, we have taken out a lot of liquidity from BSC, whereby the attacker wasn't being able to sell. So all in all, on the day itself, what we did was that, one, we actually froze his funds on Ethereum, froze his fund on Pundi AI FX, and had a battle of sort on BSC, whereby the attacker tried to sell the tokens and we tried to withdraw the liquidity from a BSC. All right, so what about the centralized exchanges? We immediately informed the centralized exchanges, and most of the centralized exchanges actually closed deposit on itself. So on the day of the attack itself, we work with the centralized exchanges to close the deposit. So that was what took place on the day itself, on a Saturday afternoon, on the day of the exploit.
Right, that was very thorough, Zac. Thank you so much. I think that brings further clarity to all our listeners about what went on that same day, you know. And having said that, you spoke about the impact, right? And can you give us like maybe more clear numbers on exactly what was lost, what we recovered, and if the compensation that was issued?
Sure, sure. All right. So by Saturday night, evening, we more or less have an idea of what the exploiter is still able to do and what he is unable to do, right? He is unable to sell anything on Ethereum. He is also unable to move his funds on Pundi AI FX. So that focus our quote unquote losses on BSC. So by the time we know that he transferred 101,000 Pundi AI to BSC. So the context is he minted 1 million Pundi AI tokens, which on that day itself is worth over $6 million, right? He sold a small fraction on Pundi AI FX chain, which we then froze the chain, so he couldn't transfer out most of his tokens. So the focus right now is on BSC, which is about 100,000 Pundi AI tokens. Okay. He doesn't have liquidity on BSC to sell, or rather a low liquidity to sell. He continued selling the tokens with a very inferior price. So we were about $5.50 to $6, sometimes at times less than $5 on that day. And he was trying to sell in a way lower price. Okay, and the exploiter, we suspect that this exploiter is a very experienced exploiter. Someone on Twitter, not us, but some security expert actually suggested the tracks of Lazarus, right? The infamous North Korean exploiter. And on BSC, because he did not have liquidity, what he did was that he actually tried to create a liquidity by himself, whereby he injected LP token, which is with his own pair. He also did that on Ethereum. We will go back to that a bit later. So overall, he tried to sell about 100,000 Pundi AI on BSC, which unfortunately, he has sold most of it, and most of it is actually sold at a very low price, not the actual spot price. So it depends on how we count it. So we are estimating the losses on BSC at about say 300,000 US dollar of funds, right? So more or less on that front. And overall, we have recovered over 80% of the lost funds. And yeah, we feel that that's actually a strong turnaround that we had. And of course, I think one of the focus today is also why we are delisted by some exchanges, and that also related to a body called DAPSA from South Korea. So I think Gabby, you want to touch about that?
Right. We're gonna touch that very soon. But it's really good to know that over 80% has been recovered. That's something that the community is interested in. And talking about the community, there's another important question coming from them. You know, and it has been around timing. Zac, why wasn't there an immediate public announcement after the exploit? Like, what was the thinking behind that delay?
The kind of thinking that we had on the day of the incident on Saturday, 12th of July, was that one, we realized that we actually found out about the exploit early. I mean, early is not the right word, but we actually discovered the exploit before the hacker managed to sell most of his funds, right? And that time we had two things on our mind. One is that we need to inform the exchanges immediately to freeze the deposit of funds, which we did, and which the exchanges really step up and help us to close deposit. And the second decision that we had to make was when to announce to the community. We knew that we had to announce it on the day itself, but we wanted to buy ourselves a few hours to block the exploiter. On hindsight, we felt that that was the right decision to do. It is actually a wise decision to actually to block the funds of the exploiter first. So it was actually a fight against time, if I may. We freeze his funds wherever we can. We withdrew liquidity wherever we can, and liquidity includes liquidity to centralized exchanges and liquidity on DEX. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Zach. Danny, do you want to add on?
Right. So, yeah. So, actually, what the media, or rather, what the outsiders say, like, we are not able to, we were not able to publicize, or rather made a public announcement, uh after 36 hours or after 2 days, was wrong, actually. So we were in mind that we should. And then at that particular night, 12th of July, I think 11 o'clock at Singapore time, so we did publish, we did make a announcement about that. But I mean, like I said, we want to keep it low key, and then, and at the same time, we don't want to draw too much attentions and create the FUD. So we used to, so Zach, we did tweet it, but we're not really making like public announcement, like we are going for like PR news wire to blast it. We didn't, but we did notify our community through Telegram, through Twitter. So I think that's the thing that, I mean, if someone said we are not really transparent, I really doubt that, because we did our job. It just, we didn't really blast it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's good to clarify that, and most importantly, I want to raise the fact that actually the strategy that was taken, it worked, right? So that's the most important thing, that every decision that was made was in favor for the protection of the community itself, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, Danny, now that we're talking, what was the communication like with exchanges after the exploit? Like, what's since you've been handling this communication, can you walk us through how the conversations with Daxa went and what led to the delisting?
Yep. Yeah. Good to provide you guys a insight. So like what Zach suggested, after, I mean, I was I mean, at 12th of July, I was they I mean, Zach called me like few times. I was I mean, my phone was not with me. So after I knew this, I learned about this thing, then we were like, what's going on. And then after the clarifications, and the first thing that we knew is, or rather, the first thing that Zach told me, the first thing came to me was, we need to freeze the withdrawal and deposit. So the first thing is, we went on the Telegram group, I mean, with the exchanges. So some of them, because it's on Saturday, so I need to call them like few times. like through Telegram, to WhatsApp, to whatever, you know, tools that I can reach to them. So I call them, or rather I texted them one by one. So the exchanges, you know, they are pretty helpful. And then I'm also very pretty thankful that they can respond pretty promptly upon to our request. And Coin One, Outbit, Bittime, Gate, MEXC, and even CoinEX. I mean, like there are too many exchanges, so we try to contact them and then block the so called the deposit, and then after that, then things then we spend, I think, the whole day, like of 13 of July, which is Sunday, and then figuring out what's going on. I mean, especially I'm not very technical, and then I need to learn like what's really going on. But like what Zach suggested, we freeze the fund on chain. So the battlefield, or rather the war zone, was on BSC, on BNB chain side. And then we will also, like, you know, calling like a lot of people, like we even call Tattle, like, you know, how should we do, and then you know, contact with Pancake, everything. And then so we were preparing the statement on 13th of July, and then after that, on 14th of July, which is early morning of 14th of July, which is around, I think, 11 o'clock. So we sent the I mean, I think Zach sent posted a very detailed statement on Pundiax forum, and then that's how we can further distribute to our community and exchanges. So we send the first statement to exchanges before lunch, which is, I think, around 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. And then I think and then at the same time, we also shared with most of them, we will actually share with exchanges, Gate, Bittime, and Outbit and Coin One, wherever. So, and I think Dexa, they respond very fast as well. So after they acknowledge our statement, so they send us a pretty long so called a pretty long questionnaire, like what's going on. And I have to say, it's pretty detailed, and up to the skill that they actually ask us, like how many times did you upgrade your contract, I mean, into that particular details. So yeah, so we I mean, start from 14th of July. So we have like around 3 rounds of communications. So we receive initial inquiry, then after that a follow-up questions, and then an addition questions, following by 14th of July, 17th and 23rd of July. So after the 23rd of July, the final reply, and then we received no further communications, or rather response from Daxa. And then and interestingly, we actually keep sort of like, because we were not, and we were not in Korea, in local, so we don't understand what's the so-called atmosphere there, you know. So we were like, I assume should be fine, because they keep asking questions, and then we were able to respond with them with, I would say we will provide a timely response. So they ask us, this is a deadline, then we always try to send them the reply before the deadline they gave us. And then a call, and from the questionnaire, it seems like, you know, there's no like suggestions, or rather wrongdoing stuff. So we were just like, you know, replying with, you know, acting professionally, replying with the knowledge we have and understands, and help them to go through, like walk through what's going on. And after that, after 23rd of July, which is, I think, a Thursday, then so we even asked our learned friends in the Korean exchanges, like, is that enough, is that sufficient, and then is that everything is okay. Then unfortunately, we didn't get any reply from them, as in, yeah, for some other reasons. Then but we finally knew what's going on. And then I think July of 18, so we, like I said, we actually request the Korean exchanges and central exchanges to help us to suspend the deposit and withdrawal. And after after, I think, some cyber security check and hygiene check, so we finally um sort of like resume our withdrawal, or rather the on-chain transfer functions on Ethereum. And so we notified the exchanges about the reopening the withdrawal and deposit. And Bittime and Outbit and Coin1, they did sort of like resume the withdrawal and deposit as we requested. So at that particular moment, it seems like everything is okay, because if there's something wrong, then they won't, resume the withdrawal and deposit. But yeah, until like I was like everyone. So on 28th of July, after our last response on 23rd of July, so we just got the delisting notice. So we were like, come on, man. Then so on that particular date, I mean, I think it's 5 o'clock Singapore time or 6 o'clock Singapore time. So I wrote them a very very long email, like just seek for clarifications, like what's going on. As in, they didn't tell us anything, like especially like tell us like what's going on, like what did you do wrong. I mean, from Daksa, no. So and the only thing, or rather the only reasons that we can find, is from the announcement from the individual exchanges, like from Bittime, from Outbet, from Coin1. So so even though until today, I mean, just now I just tried to had a call with them, but they refused to arrange a meeting with me. And I was like, I want to, I mean, I know the result is there, but I mean, at least let us know what's going on, like really going on the issues. Like, I mean, I know there's lessons, but yeah, we need to understand, or rather learn the lessons, like which part did we not doing well or good. So yeah, so basically this is the communication. So we went on, basically it's email, but I tried to communicate with exchanges, but they refuse to comment on these particular issues, that and then they always refers to their so-called the public announcement of the particular reasons. Yeah, so
Right.
right.
And but
But but
thank you,
yeah,
Danny.
we respect the decisions, of course. Like, yeah, we did, we did do something wrong, but yeah, we expect that.
Definitely, definitely, I agree with you. And but thank you, Danny, for taking such swift actions, and having this uh constant communication with with them, with the exchanges. It's just such a really important part of the work. And on that note, Korea has always been a key part of the Pundi ecosystem. So Danny, can you elaborate more on what specific steps are we taking to support our Korean users during this time?
Right. Yeah, it was indeed a sad news. So, and then I didn't I to be fair, personally, I didn't expect that to be happen. As in,
Yeah.
okay, because before that, right? So there are only few cases from the Daxa. I mean, let me brought it back a bit far. So the last case I knew was Remix. So the other token. So I mean, that cases is a bit off, I would say. So the team minted additional tokens and then sell it, on the open markets. So, but our cases, I think, is different. As in, although we have additional tokens being minted, but it's by the attacker, and then we really try our best to mitigate, and even, we compensate it. So I think the first thing is, we were different from, although we were been delisted, or rather been, won by Daxa or the exchanges, but I guess we were not the same kind of like people that the Daxa, or rather the exchanges, deem to be delisted. I think that's the first message I think I want to. Yeah, we will build it, so we are not like the same like what they did. And unlike them, so after the delisting, they did nothing to their Korean communities. We Although we will not be supported anymore, I mean, at least in the near future, but we try to do something with, we try to mitigate the so-called the losses, or rather to reduce the impact. And yeah, so I mean, bring it back to our cases. So like I said, like what David gave us brief introductions about Pundi AI. So formerly we are FX. So we have been trading in Korea for over 5 years. So I handled the listing, so I still remember vividly. Summer. It was I think August. Um, so I had a so I had a drink with I had a drink with I think I had a drink with I think with Zach or David on that day particular date, and then after that, then we received a notification saying that we were actually listed on Bitam like in 2019. Then we were like, what? And fast forward to today, so it was having like 5 years or 6 years, 2019 or 2020. Yeah, it's almost 6 years time. And then we were fortunate to be listed on Albit in 2020. So Albit will be trading there for 4 plus 5 years. So we were like, we were really old in Korean market, and with an estimation, I think at least we have 200,000 or even 300,000 traders on, or rather holders, in Korea. So we were pretty happy. And then so after, I mean, like I said, the listing was a bit, it's pretty impactful. So I mean, how can we help them, or rather, um to mitigate, or rather help them to migrate from Korean exchanges, would be a great issue. So I gave you guys the remix case, because at the remix case, right after the Daxa released the listing news, right, their token, I think, was reduced, like, I don't know, really plumb, like 60% or 70%, I don't know. But ours is a bit different. It's just like not moving at all. Like, it seems like the delisting news means nothing to our holders, or rather the believer. And that makes me feel like, and then we need to do more things, man. Like, the Korean market didn't, or rather the traders, they still believe in us. And so we are right now trying to, so these days I've been approaching the tier one exchanges, like really, like very hard, approaching the tier one exchanges to see whether there are any, like, you know exchanges, they can and are willing and believe in us, and then try to list Pundi AI, and then we can divert, or rather to migrate them to that particular new exchanges. But nothing has been concreted, nothing concrete. But yeah, we've been trying our very very best to reach out to them, although it's pretty a hard time for us, as in, the announcement and the delisting news. And then secondly, if touch wood, if we can't, so we will try to provide a so-called a bridge incentive to help them to migrate from ERC20, from the exchanges, to BSC, which is our new products. Data Palm is launching on there. And then new users, we will figure out a technical way. So whoever just deposit, or transfers funds from the Korean exchanges, you will get airdrop, you will get rewards. And then we will make sure, we try to make sure the bridging part, the technicality will be settled, and make it like a one click, away thingy. And then this is the second thingy we can think about. And then the third one will be a probably on-chain liquidity provision thing. So we will also build a stronger and thicker so-called or rather liquidity pool on chain. So if the users, if the users don't want to trade on BSC, don't want to trade on central exchange, so there's still a way that they can trade on chain. So I think these are the few things that we will try to do. And then one more thing I think is, we were thinking, should we also provide some airdrops to Korean holders and users, to help them, to at least to compensate, or not really compensate, to support them for the migrations, instead to cover their gas fee, this and that. But we haven't had the finalized you know discussion, like the version yet. But this is what actually we had in mind, and then try to do. So three things. First one is we are exploring listing on the new tier one exchanges for Korean users. And then secondly is bridge incentive. So rather we call it a migration support. So users, if you withdraw from exchange, Korean exchanges, Bitam, and then to BSC, which is, and then to participate into our new product Data Palm, then you'll get rewarded. And then at least the gas fee will be so called covered. And then the third one will be the on-chain liquidity provisioning. So we will inject more liquidity on chain to make sure the trading is going smoothly. And
Yeah,
fourth,
I think
which is that's all about it.
yeah, I think those are great actions to support our Korean users. It's such a great community. And talking about the road ahead, Danny, what are the team's course priorities right now? Like, what's next in terms of development?
Right. So I mean I need to go back a little bit. So I think everyone's been focusing on our the so-called the exploit on 12th of July. But I think only a few people noticed that we actually launched our new product, or rather soft launch our new product Data Pump on 10th of July.
That's
So
right.
it was I mean in I don't know, in Chinese it was so coincidence, right? So yeah, we just launched something and then went to do something big, then things happen. And then after we finally ties up all the loose end, and the delisting happens. So today is 1st of August. I hope all the bad lucks, or rather the bad things, just stopped it yesterday, like 31st of July, and we just I think just ended there. Right. So yeah, so what we try to do is the focus is, yeah, obviously, after tie up, that there are still some so-called the nitty-gritty details need to be ironed out. The aftermath of the exploit. And then apart from the exploit, the details like the liquidity provisions need to be provided. And then the exchanges need to, I mean, tier one exchanges need to go for the further discussions. And then probably a huge round, a few rounds of bargaining and negotiations. After that, I think our top priority, or rather from the product side, is Data Pump. So Data Pump is our AI DataFi launchpad. So we want to become, or rather we will build it to the top platforms, the first platform for the AI DataFi places. So this is a launchpad like what David introduced. So any users just can, it's just like pump.fun, right? So instead of a meme coin, which I don't really appreciate, but this is how is it the people, how the market reacts. So we will sort of like monetize, or rather tokenize the data five, like the AI data set. So anyone, just put in your data file, rather the data sets NFT, then you can launch your own, or rather the own data file tokens. This is a launchpad for the data set. And then users can comes in and buy and sell within the bonding curve. And after the graduations, tokens will be automatically be trading on PancakeSwap. So we use the so-called the bonding curve methodology, but put it on data five, on data pump. So we call it, this product called data pump. So we will try to release and redefine how DataFi be like, instead of just a meme coin. And starting in August, so what we try to do is we will doing a very, 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 very heavy and a full scale campaign. We aim to build the first 1 million, first 5 million, 10 million, 30 million, 50 million market cap of the Data 5 tokens in the future. So I think I just look at, and right now I'm looking at the data set. I mean the so-called the data pump platform. So right now I think we have so far I think we have around 30 projects, like 30 data 5 tokens about to launch. And then I think we have launched rather I think 10 or 11, sorry, 15. So right now we have 15 data 5, or rather the data 5 tokens has been graduated from data pump. So I think this is, I mean, even though we are under this the hard time, so I think there are still users and communities still notice about the new launch. And then yeah, so we will do a full scale campaign and promotions on DataFi, and then you guys will see, 1 million or 5 million, even 10 million market cap tokens pretty soon. I believe so, because if meme coin, or rather the transactions, can go through so well, I believe data, the data sovereignty worth much more than that. And yeah, I mean, I talk a lot, so few things. So first of all is first of all, I mean, I just give a short summary. So we'll be focusing on data pump, and then try to promote, and then try to make more tokens or data 5 tokens to be graduated, and at the same time we'll be negotiating with tier 1 exchanges, and at the same time we will inject more on chain liquidity. Yeah, thank you, Gabby.
Yeah, yeah, thank you, Danny, because it's very nice to see that even without official marketing, we've already seen early community data sets minted, so it's good to see the hype. So now, Zach, what's our strategy for rebuilding trust and showing the community that we're here for the long haul?
Thank you, Gabby. Right. Um, just a recap to now what we have discussed. One is that the exploit happened. We reacted quickly. We recovered more than 80% of the funds. Danny also shared what we have did with Daxa, and hopefully our re-engagement back with Korea. After all, we have been listed. Pundi AI have been listed in Korea since 6 years ago, right? So one, recovering assets. Two, compensating losses. Three, constant communication, including we have some very interesting discussion on our forum, and continuing to build what we envision as an open AI ecosystem. Of course, we also want to highlight some of the numbers that we have discussed, and we would like to put forward to the community to show that we are here to do the actions. Actions is the loudest, right? So I want everyone to remember 15 plus 15, 1 5 plus 1 5, right? One is that we want to be able to provide $15 million worth of ecosystem funds, and also 15% of circulation supply buyback. So once again, 15 million US dollar worth of ecosystem funds to be deployed for Pundi AI various items. And second, to do another 15% off the current circulating supply buyback. So $15 million worth of ecosystem funds, and also to buy back 15% of the circulating supply. The $5 million US stablecoin, we will be using up to $5 million worth of US dollar stablecoin to buy back up to 15% of the current circulating token supply. This is one. The second one, as Danny has mentioned, which is our proud product data pump, which was actually launched a day before the exploit, right? So right now we want to get everyone to refocus back on data pump. And in order to do that, we want to reward top projects that hit a certain active usage, reach a certain market cap, for example, $10 million worth of market cap, and we wanted to use up to $2 million worth of Pundi AI to incentivize projects on data pump, right? So as Danny has mentioned, how the data scene will change the meme coin market. So for those of you that are curious, you can go to data.pundi.ai and take a look at the various ERC20 tokens that are being trained by data sets, and how they can contribute to the ecosystem. So that is data.pundi.ai. And for projects that are successfully launched on our platform, we plan to use upwards to $2 million worth of Pundi AI to incentivize those projects. It is still very early stage. In fact, there's only one token right now that have graduated from the bonding curve. So only one token that have successfully launched through that platform. But we expect many, many more, dozens, if not hundreds of them in 2025. The third one that we want to do is that we want to have a migration support to help centralized exchange users, SEX users, especially Korean users, to move.
Right. No, I was just going to pick up where, Zach was talking about in terms of helping particularly the Korean users to migrate to the BNB chain. And so there's going to be, airdrops for those Pundi AI holders. In total, we've allocated 180,000 Pundi AI tokens, and 70,000 will be used as an airdrop for the migration support, and 110,000 Pundi AI will be used as migration rewards. So it's a total of $1 million US dollars worth of Pundi AI. So this is really to compensate isn't the right word, but to encourage our users, and particularly our Korean users, for a migration because of the issues that we have with DAXA. And then the other thing, we'll be providing on-chain AMM liquidity. So we're going to be using $2 million worth of USD stablecoin, or it's going to be $1 million of stablecoin and $1 million worth of Pundi AI that will be used to support liquidity. And then we'll also have staking rewards for the Pundi AI ecosystem, about $5 million worth of Pundi AI tokens. So this is all done to incentivize and to again, I don't, as a lawyer, I don't like to use the word compensate, but I know that there's been a lot of pain that's gone on, with the DAXA in particular. And so we're going to, really try to encourage people and to restore confidence, because a lot of people, when they see this, DAXA delisting, and it's kind of a red flag of a scam, and we are not that. And so, I kind of take personally when I see comments about this, that, that we are, dedicated to our community and dedicated to transparency. And that's the reason for this AMA, that we're being totally transparent with all of our users. And we are incredibly appreciative to the community that has been so supportive of us. And so we want to, bring back or, instill that confidence in our users that we are here for the long run. And we're not just doing it to try to spin things, but we're here, with putting, money where our mouth is to incentivize people to continue supporting us.
That's right, David. I think no one could have said it better. And uh, one of the most forward looking conversations happening in the forum right now is about potentially moving to Ethereum. And David, as someone who served on the Ethereum Foundation board, we would love to know your take on this and what would it mean for Pundi AI going forward. Would you like to share?
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I encourage people to check out our forum where the discussion is starting. And the reason's clear. I mean, Ethereum offers, huge growth potential, transparency, and of course, broader reach into communities. So, there's more transparency and user reach running the DAO and operations on Ethereum. So, keep in mind, Ethereum's still the world's largest decentralized network, and that will increase our visibility and increase accessibility to all of our products. And, it enables a larger user base to participate and ensure better transparency for all the stakeholders. There's improved governance. Currently, the governance takes place on our own chain, the AIFX chain, and migrating to Ethereum will allow us to use, established tools like Snapshot, and either with custom built front ends or through third party platforms. So this model is also likely to be more favorable to the centralized exchanges. as we look for listings. So validator participation will continue and be better with lower operational costs if we move to Ethereum. DAO controlled emission on Ethereum. So at present, emissions occur on our own chain and are distributed to delegators. And after we have a migration to the Ethereum chain, the reward structure continues on Ethereum with staking services operated by validators and emissions governed through the DAO. So liquidity on major, exchanges, decentralized exchanges, and we plan to move our liquidity to native dexes across Ethereum, the BNB chain with PancakeSwap, and Base with Aerodome. And so this will improve accessibility and support, better support for trading activity. And there will be, assuming this will pass, and I'm very hopeful that it will pass the governance voting, the migration to Ethereum will be automated via snapshots and mirrored wallet addresses. So, for example, holders of one Pundi AI currently on FX Core will receive one Pundi AI on Ethereum, airdropped to the same OX wallet address. So, this is, I think, a really opportune time. I mean, I think, when you have sometimes when you have a something that appears as a crisis, you can also turn it into an opportunity. And I think this is a great opportunity for us. The Pundi AI FX Omni layer was functional, but it's not competitive. And if we look at long-term growth, we think that transitioning to Ethereum, BSC, and Base is a strategic move that will help us better scale. And the migration process will be phased over several months, and it'll include the shutdown of FX Core and the Pundi X chain, and ultimately consolidating all infrastructure on Ethereum. And that's going to be better for our development as we're able to focus on that. And the Pundi AI token will remain the native asset of the Pundi AI ecosystem, serving as the main utility token across all of our products, including the AI data platform, data marketplace, and data pump. So, I mean, again, we're looking forward to recovering and helping our community recover from this little bit of a setback. But I think we have a great future going forward. And there will be continued, communications has always been the important thing, and a lot of platforms, when they run into these issues, kind of disappear. And we just wanted to make it clear that we're here for the long haul, and we hope our community stays with us for the long haul.
Thank you for that, David. And if we don't have any questions from the listeners, we will proceed to close. So thank you all for being here tonight and for staying through this AMA. We know that the past few weeks haven't been easy, and we truly appreciate your patience, your questions, and most importantly, your trust. This community has been the anchor of everything we do. Your belief in our vision, even when tested, is what motivates us to keep building with integrity, transparency, and long-term commitment. We've said it before along this AMA, but we'll say it again. No user lost funds, and we're in it 100% commitment as always. We're here for the long run, creating something stronger than ever. And if you have more questions, ideas, or concerns, our doors are always open. So thank you guys again for being part of the Pundi AI journey. Good night. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.